In today's modern world, is there such a thing as normal family life?
Who's to say what's normal?
Some families enjoy a dangerous life. Some crave a relaxing life. And some just like the wild life. In this series, we'll be visiting households across the globe to celebrate the wonderful, the inspirational, and the eccentric. Welcome to the world's most extraordinary families. In this episode, we meet an extraordinary couple who opened their home to half a dozen children, all with one thing in common.
Having the blindness factor, we can all relate in that way.
In Denver, Colorado, we meet the Williams family, who built a multi-million-dollar family business selling a controversial product.
Once in every 50 years, a new market like this opens up, and we actually were there day one.
But first, a family who have given up the high life and all the mod cons to squeeze into a 250-square-foot school bus.
Welcome to our home.
Everybody want a tea?
Extra sugar. Extra sugar, please. Extra sugar.
In 2017, Gabriel and Debbie Mays, along with their 4 children, Grayson, Darby, Deacon and Jovi, left their old lives behind in Chicago and hit the open road to live life in a school bus.
This is basically our living area. We like to have one big open area between the kitchen and the living room. These couches actually pull out too into a bed if we were going to have guests. This is the bathroom. And this is the only closet that we had built in. This is the kids' bedroom.
No, Deacon's bed.
That's Deacon's bed. Or this is our master bedroom.
But before their new life on 4 wheels, the family were living the American dream.
House that we had before was 5,000 square feet. It was a lot of space. Everyone had their own rooms. Our bedroom was just huge.
I was a successful man in business, ran a really good agency, and big house, fancy cars.
To fund their luxury lifestyle, Dad Gabriel worked long hours running an online consulting business, which meant Mum Debbie took care of the 4 kids and their huge home.
It was my whole world was just staying home with them and taking care of that big house. It takes a lot to clean and cook and do all the laundry.
Despite their comfortable lifestyle, the couple felt distant and disconnected from one another.
Debbie, my wife, is the most amazing woman on the planet. And what's crazy is you would think that most women would want what she had prior. But in that type of setting, Debbie was miserable.
We were just unhappy with where life was at. We were really disconnected as a family and as a couple.
Debbie realised she needed to bring the family closer together, much closer together.
I saw a young couple that had converted a school bus. They had done a documentary about the conversion process, and I was like, yeah, heck yeah, we could do this.
Debbie's audacious plan was to move out of the family home and onto a school bus in search of a fresh start.
The idea of living on a school bus was terrifying to me. I just never imagined that we'd be the kind of people living in this type of situation.
But despite Gabriel's reservations, he was on board.
Okay, whatever it takes. I want to be closer with my wife, and I want to be closer with my kids. So what does that look like? And for us as a family, it looked like moving onto a school bus.
With Gabriel convinced, he planned to run his business whilst on the road and rent the family home. The next people to tell were the kids.
I was like, well, we're moving onto a bus? That's crazy. My parents told me that I'm going to move onto a bus, and I just started crying because I didn't want to leave. They made it the best decision ever.
With the kids ready for adventure, the couple bought a Thomas-built, high-top school bus they christened Schoolie.
It's 10 years old, it's not super rusty. When it was bought, it was yellow. It looked like a normal school bus.
The family hired a company to convert the bus into a livable space, fit for their family.
We're dropping our bus off and we'll see it when it's almost complete.
To pay for their new bus, they rented the family home and used the money made from Gabriel's business.
The cost from beginning to end was $38,000. So yes, it was expensive, but what a crazy, awesome investment it's been.
And for Mum Debbie, she had the opportunity to design the perfect mobile family home.
I designed everything on the school bus, so I spent probably a good few weeks planning out every single inch of the space. When you only have 250 square feet, literally every inch is important. When we designed the bus, we had to make sure every part of it had good storage because we knew that that was going to be a huge difficulty. So we have storage under each of the couches. This side is for the kids' toys, and then this side is for the guitar and some books that are mine. Above the TV we have storage, and just every available area pretty much I put storage in there. I found the process really fun because we'd always had houses in America just have the same kind of style, and I have more of a Scandinavian modern style. It's like designing a dream house, but just on a very small scale.
With the bus complete, the family were ready to begin their big adventure. However, they were about to hit a bump in the road.
When we actually pulled away, there was quite a few things that weren't done right. The roof leaked really, really bad. It was raining on the inside. That was a really big struggle in the beginning because it was one of those moments when it's like, okay, was this the right choice?
So this is the road life. It's one thing after another.
Yeah.
After a few last-minute repairs, the family could finally drive away.
It was extraordinary. My family is about to embark on something that we have no idea what's 10 miles, 100 miles from us, but I know that we're gonna grow closer as a result of it. And so that day will go down as one of the best days of our lives.
Coming up, we find out how the stylish Mays family found fame and fortune whilst living on the road.
Our account grew by over 10,000 new followers.
But now we meet the Bartlings, a big family with a big heart. In Oakton, Virginia, kind-hearted couple Joe and Karen Bartling have adopted 6 children from around the world who are all blind.
I'm David. I am the second oldest of the 6 blind kids. My siblings are pretty cool. We have Hannah, who's the oldest.
I am considered the talkative one and the funny one too. Dun, 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 dun. Bethany's the quiet one. Abby is a funny one.
Rip it.
Jessie doesn't say much. She's a girl of few words.
We have Obed, and he's like the lovable one. He's like the really crazy man. Really fun to hang out with and play around.
How you doing out here, Obed?
Mr. Cutie.
The blindness actually pulls them together, and their common experience of being, visually impaired is, is something that they all have.
Sugar baby mine.
Although their 2 biological sons, Joel and Brian, have now moved out of the family home, day-to-day life for the Bartling family is done with military precision and an early start.
She's all buttoned up. Right, Jess?
Day-to-day is quite a chaotic experience at our house. The alarm goes off very, very early, and Karen gets up usually around 4:45 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get kids ready to go to school.
Not only are the 6 children blind, but daughter Jessie has autism, and son Obed lives with cerebral palsy.
Jessie and Obed will be like this forever. That's just the way it is. And so in some ways it's like Groundhog Day.
This story of this extraordinary family began in 1986, and it was love at first sight.
Joe and I met on a blind date. My friend told me, well, you're not gonna like this guy, he's not your type, and she kind of, painted such a horrible picture that when I saw him, oh, he's not that bad.
We met and were married within about 4 months.
The couple had always dreamt of having a large family. Husband Joe had a son Brian from a previous marriage, but after the birth of their second son Joel, they received some sad news.
We were diagnosed with unexplained secondary infertility, which comes as a result after you've already given birth to a child and then you just can't seem to conceive or have another child. We started down the path of adoption.
We never tried to adopt 6 blind children. Karen and I just wanted a large family. It just so happened that the first child that we were presented with happened to be blind.
At the time, Mum Karen owned a gift shop and she overheard one of her customers talking about a family in South Korea who were fostering daughter Hannah. She was looking for a permanent home.
First, when we found out that she was blind, it took us, probably 2 weeks trying to kind of wrap our brains around, could we care for her? Could we take care of her needs, meet her needs?
In 1996, the couple officially adopted 2-year-old Hannah, who was born with no eyes and a love of singing.
Mrs. O'Grady, she was a lady. She had a daughter whom I adore. I started singing when I was at our children's choir at our church. It makes me feel happy. It's just very enjoyable.
Next to join the Bartling brood was another little girl from South Korea, Jessie.
One day I was putting Hannah on the school bus and I went to the mail and there was a publication that we get for parents and teachers of blind children. And I started leafing through it and there was Jessie's picture right in the middle of this publication saying parents needed for blind girl from Korea. And in that moment, I just knew that she was our daughter.
In South Korea, where Jessie was born, the authorities decided because of her disabilities she was unadoptable. But just before she was to be put into an institution, the Bartling family swooped in to bring her home.
Jessie has severe autism and severe intellectual disabilities in addition to the fact that she is blind, but she's mobile, she's fun, she's musical, she brings so much life and happiness and joy to our family. We just can't even imagine life without Jessie.
Good job. Go! As we play. Oh, Jessie's playing the drum.
With 2 new daughters in the family, just 1 year later the couple received a phone call from a social worker about another young girl in India who was found abandoned in a bin.
Good job, Babs. You're giving 5. Yeah. Abby, when she first arrived, she got off that plane and came toward us in her buggy, and we had no idea. We thought, oh my goodness, she's got a lot going on.
Abby suffers from Fraser syndrome, a rare disorder that affects development. The condition can also result in the eyes being completely covered by skin.
Abby she's quite a miracle. She is rare amongst the rare in this genetic disorder that she has, in that she is so healthy and she is doing, so well. And so we just couldn't be happier.
Next, find out how this household doubled in size and the family head out to try a fun new activity together.
Trampoline!
Now we're headed to the Williams household, who are not your average gardeners. Back in 2009, brothers Andy and Pete Williams started a new family business, selling marijuana.
We produce about 8,000 pounds of marijuana a year, and we sell it all out of our own dispensaries in one form or another.
It's all done legally, of course, as the family live in Denver, Colorado, where since 2014, anybody over the age of 21 or over 18 with a doctor's recommendation can buy marijuana from a licensed dispensary.
Buds and younger, earlier, and ready to harvest.
The family business sells medical and recreational cannabis and employs 10 members of the Williams extended family.
I am the CEO and co-founder. My brother Peter is also a co-founder.
Pot grown efficiently makes me excited. These fall-like colors are beautiful. The industry is so exciting.
My sister Sally came on a little bit after we started, but she is running the brick and mortar.
I am the co-owner and president.
My mother
I thought you could only smoke marijuana, but it's not true.
works for us as the chief money counter. And then we have a lot of nieces and nephews and sons and daughters working with us as well.
Working for my family business is all I could really hope for. It's like a dream come true for me, really.
It's nice working with family. You know, we all have our different quirks.
It's great. It's, you know, the people making the rules are my family.
They are now one of the top 5 largest marijuana businesses in the US, turning over around $40 million a year, and it all grew out of Pete's basement.
I just had an interest in the industry because I was a pot smoker and I paid for the product all the time, so why not grow it yourself?
My brother had been growing and supplying people with document recommendations, their cannabis, for a number of years under the Constitution. And I had the business savvy. He had the green thumb side of it. And I went to him and I said, let's join up and go big in this industry.
We are the luckiest family in the world.
To get that initial investment, the brothers didn't head to the bank. In 2009, they decided to approach their mother. But first, they had a confession to make.
I had been growing in the basement for probably 6 months or so. She had been over at my house a couple times, and my house smelled like pot.
I never even knew what marijuana smelled like.
Her first reaction was a little bit of shock that Peter did marijuana and grew marijuana. That was a surprise to her, but you know, she's very open to these things and got past it quickly.
Peter and Andy came to me and asked for investment, and then they said it was marijuana. And so I was completely baffled.
It was actually Michelle's husband Lou who decided to invest $150,000 in the brothers' venture.
Shortly after I got married to Michelle, Andy and Peter approached me with a business proposition. And I discovered in a very short time that it was marijuana, cannabis related. And I made them quite a nice loan of money.
With their stepdad's initial seed money, the brothers moved out of Pete's basement and into a warehouse. Over the next 5 years, the business grew. But in 2013, they hit a financial crisis.
I really needed somebody to take over the finances. Things were just in a wreck, and the business was at risk because of it.
And so the brothers called upon their big sister to get them out of trouble.
What turned out to be sort of, yeah, I'll help you out for a couple months part-time. I'm now running the company and full-time and working 80 hours a week, so.
Sally is really taking over the leadership of the family. She's becoming the family matriarch, and Sally is the boss.
A lot of people ask me what it's like working with my family, and they can't imagine working with their family, and I can't imagine not working with my family.
Next, we find out what happened when Mum Michelle tried cannabis for the first time.
In the middle of the night, I ended up crawling to the bathroom.
Now, back with the Mays family and living in such close quarters is getting to Dad Gabriel.
There are moments whenever living on this thing sucks.
Back with the Mays family, who after being unhappy living in a huge suburban house in Chicago, packed their lives into a stylish converted school bus and hit the road in search of a new start.
Since we lived on the bus, we have been all over. And I guess the easiest way to say is we started in Tennessee and we ended up on the West Coast in California.
We travel a lot of places, but my favorite place so far was Sacramento. The views of the mountain and going to K1 and just spending time as a family, and then just explore the world and just go wherever we want.
To fund their new bus life, Dad Gabriel continued to run his website design business whilst on the road.
Basically, the way that we make money is from behind the computer. And we've been doing that for the past couple of years, and that not only gives us the opportunity to live like this, but it also gives us to work from anywhere we want.
The reason that we can do what we do is because we run our own companies and we're able to be flexible and be online, and that was kind of our dream, was to be able to start a business that could travel with us wherever we go. And so we work really hard, but we love it because we can set our own schedule and we can travel and we don't have to worry about that.
We run our businesses together, and she may be cleaning right now, but I even do some of the cleaning as well and cooking. And it's just is awesome teamwork, you know, hence the Maze team. We say teamwork makes the dream work, and yeah, it's awesome. Our marriage has gotten stronger, our family unit has gotten stronger simply because we get to do everything together.
I get to clean the bathroom, and my brothers also have chores, and we get paid after we do our chores. Since I'm 7, I get $7. My chores are doing the call and also cleaning this whole place.
But a surprising new stream of income was about to come their way as this photogenic family began to document their lives on social media.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriel.
And I'm Debbie.
The Maze team. Guys, welcome to our very first ever non-rehearsed YouTube video.
Whilst on the road, the family began to get quite a following and now have over 78,000 fans online. They turned that popularity into cash.
One way that we make money is with the Maze team from our large social media following. So brands will pay us to represent them on our Instagram. It's probably about $10,000 a month just from Instagram.
And to capitalize on their newfound stardom, they've even begun coaching other families to become successful on social media.
From November of 2017 to February of 2018, our account grew by over 10,000 new followers, and it actually continues to grow today.
Behind the camera, being on the road with such a big family in such a tight space has its downsides.
Living on the bus has a few bumps, like you go to bed. I've got my little brother underneath me, so it like kicks the top of the bed, and it's just really annoying whenever I'm trying to get some sleep.
Having no space has been, it's the highest point of tension in our family.
Oh no!
It just means doing the dishes every day by hand, which sucks. You know, it means that we have to pick up after ourselves, and that sucks.
Honestly, when I was in a house and things would get lost, I wouldn't get frustrated. But living in a bus when things get lost, I'm like, how? How could it possibly be lost?
Whenever we go to the restroom, we can hear each other go into the restroom, and that sucks. Debbie and I have to be strategic about when we're intimate with one another, and that sucks to a certain extent. So yes, there are moments whenever living on this thing sucks, big time.
Coming up, has their school bus home made its final journey as the family park up so the kids can go to school?
We can just go and do whatever we want after school. It's just so much fun.
Now, the Bartling family head out to try some trampolining for the very first time.
I'm doing it! I like crazy.
In Virginia, Joe and Karen Bartling, along with their 6 blind children, are heading off for a day of trampolining.
Interestingly enough, our kids love to go on rides, go on car rides. And we call them drive-by vacations, or they could be sightseeing trips. They have no idea what we're going to see, but they love it.
I'm doing it!
After adopting 3 blind daughters by 2004, the couple decided they wanted an even bigger family, and their next addition was a spirited 5-year-old boy from China.
David was a very rambunctious, crazy, wild 5-year-old.
David was originally brought to the US by a different adopted family.
The family went, they got him, they brought him home, and then they realized that he was more than they felt they could handle.
And so Karen and Joe stepped in to give David a permanent home.
Like some yogurt or something too? Maybe that would be good.
How many plates are we getting? 3? My favorite part of my family is that we're basically, we have like our own personalities, and the thing is that we are all pretty normal. The thing that's helpful is having the blindness factor, because we can all relate in that way to each other.
David, now 19 years old, has moved out of the family home and is now studying business communications and IT at George Mason University. Technology is helping him to adapt to college life.
Now, my preferred way of texting is with braille screen input. I can basically flip to the braille screen input and type in messages from the home screen, and just I can do this. And it goes into my messages. But I can do that from anywhere, and it will open any app on my phone because it's smart.
David started college this semester, and yes, I was petrified. Not 100% sure, that he would be able to navigate his way around campus, which he's doing just fine. He seems to be enjoying it, and I've actually seen a maturity in him just in a few weeks. It's amazing.
The Bartling family now had 4 children born without sight, and after a call from their social worker, they were about to adopt a 5th, the first of their children to be born in the US, Obed.
Obed is a very affectionate little boy. He is just sweet and funny, and he never gets upset. He just goes with the flow. He is just chill.
Like their daughter Hannah, Obed was born without eyes, a condition known as bilateral anophthalmia.
He's just astounded us with his progress, and the fact that he is able to, with his cerebral palsy, that he's able to actually walk, and he is very, very happy.
By 2006, the family had 2 biological children and 5 adopted children, all with various disabilities. But Joe and Karen weren't finished yet. However, this time, to get their final edition Bethany, they'd have to take on the government of Thailand.
Right away, we were told, you're too old, because every country has its age restrictions. You have too many children in the home, and no.
Bethany, like David, was adopted by a different family in the US, but they decided not to finalize the adoption. A few years later, the Bartlings received a call to adopt Bethany.
And here she was, now 7 years old, finally coming home to where she should have been all along. But now we didn't have to go up against the restrictions and all that with Thailand, because now it was a domestic adoption.
An Orbit reader, it is a braille display that you can connect to Bluetooth with your phone. The braille comes up onto the display, whatever it's saying on the screen.
Living in a family with 6 children, all having different disabilities, comes with its challenges.
Are you pushing me
If
away?
we put Jessie's Cheerios in a bowl, she'll throw the bowl across the room. So she much prefers them just on the counter. We do it her way, right? If the training is not there, or sometimes even if the training is there and the supports aren't there, it just, what one family can't handle, another family is usually, ready to handle.
Next, daughter Hannah heads off to earn a crust at the local bakery.
This part is a little chipped right here.
But now, back with the Williams family, who are discovering the life-changing effects medical marijuana is having on their customers.
She said, because what you do allows my 5-year-old niece to function.
In the US, 10 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized recreational marijuana for adults over the age of 21. Medical marijuana is legal in another 33 states.
With cannabis, genetics are very important. Every plant is unique. They have their own genes.
The family business has 2 main branches for sales, medical and recreational.
Over here will be the recreational side, where anybody can come and buy marijuana or edibles or vapes, all kinds of different products. And on the opposite side is the medical side. So a person will come in here with their prescription, sign in, and then come on over to the medical side. And they have a larger selection of product, because if you have a medical issue, you want to have consistency, so they get that same product every time that works for them.
We're getting the hybrid cartridge by batch. It's going to be a real nice height and euphoria in between. Real good bubbly head, a little bit of a body height.
Everybody's very passionate about what they do here, so it makes it easier on us because they give you the spiel and just the friendly faces as well.
Another stem of their business is MedFarm, the family's very own scientific research facility. They're discovering new ways marijuana can be used in medicine.
What makes us unique in the United States and maybe the world is our ability to not only analyze what we produce chemically, but also to produce it in a pharmaceutical grade level.
We're going to be doing research with different universities and different colleges of medicine for sterile dosage forms such as injections, eye drops, inhalations also.
This is meant to provide researchers the tools that they need in order to advance the science of cannabis.
In 2017, it was reported that legal marijuana sales exploded to $9.7 billion in North America. The industry remains to be heavily regulated and taxed.
It's very highly regulated. 14 or 15 licenses to operate it.
There's no difference between the pot itself. The taxing is different between med and rec. It's about a total of 36% taxes paid on recreational bud, and it's about 8% tax on the medical bud.
The sale and use of marijuana is still considered controversial, and recreational sales are illegal globally, except in Uruguay, Canada, and 10 US states. So how do the family feel about dealing in a product banned in most of the world?
People are going to smoke it anyway. And if you can tax it to its maximum, it can really benefit society.
But like any mind-altering substance such as alcohol, the family recognise that marijuana should come with a health warning.
I think using any substance, there are inherent dangers. You could have a bad high, right? You could be paranoid, you could be very lethargic. Those are some of the more common side effects. I would say it's less addictive than coffee, it's less addictive than cigarettes, but no substance that alters your body is necessarily without risks.
You can't die from over-consuming cannabis. You might have a bad experience, but you can't die like you can from drinking a whole bottle of alcohol that you shouldn't have drank.
So, do the family ever sample their own produce?
I started smoking cannabis in high school, probably 15 years old.
I've never smoked marijuana.
I don't smoke marijuana a lot, but for the most part, I'll take a daily dose of CBD.
CBD, or cannabidiol, is a chemical produced by the cannabis plant. It's not psychoactive, it won't give you the feeling of being high, but it is reported to ease pain and have a variety of health benefits.
I play tennis and I have tennis elbow and I have some mild arthritis, so I take a small amount of CBD and it has a tiny amount of THC.
THC is the chemical in marijuana that is responsible for the psychoactive high experienced by users.
One time, I had a surgery and Andy gave me some chocolate.
And so I said, well, why don't you take this chocolate to help you sleep and relieve the pain? So each square is 10 milligrams of THC, which isn't very much. It's just enough to kind of loosen you up and make you a little bit happy. And I told her to eat one square, and she ate 2 squares. She ate 20 milligrams, so twice as much as I told her.
In the middle of the night, I ended up crawling to the bathroom because I was too dizzy.
I think she was stoned for like 18 hours, which is really unusual for that amount. It just really affected her.
So that was my only experience, and so I don't like it.
That was funny. You're stoned for 18 hours.
In 33 states in the US, medical marijuana is recommended by doctors to treat health issues such as pain, IBS, Parkinson's, and epilepsy.
Marijuana has tremendous health benefits. And there's over 300 different compounds within the marijuana plant. CBD and THC are just 2 of them.
The company sells over 350 different cannabis products, including pills that can help you sleep.
These little tablets, take it similar to an aspirin or an Advil. Just take them with a glass of water 30 minutes before sleep. And I've sold those bottles to numerous and numerous elderly people who come back and they say, oh my gosh, Matt, thank you so much. I slept 8 hours last night.
The miracles that are happening. If you have Parkinson's and you're at the end of your life and you're shaking, and you start the CBDs with some THC, and a month later you're shaking a little less, and a couple months later you're actually knitting and cooking again. Those people, they come back crying because their life has changed.
Coming up, there's stiff competition for who will inherit the family business.
If they have aspirations of running the business one day, all the better. Doesn't mean they'll get it.
Next, we're back with the Mays family, who are hitting the brakes on their journey.
We will transition into this home recognizing and understanding the value of time spent with our kids.
After traveling across the US, the Mays family have completed their search for a new place to settle down in Redding, California. They have parked their home at a local caravan park.
We're currently in Redding, California. That's where we decided to settle down for the kids to go to school. When I looked at homeschooling, I just didn't feel like it was something that I could fit.
You guys want to walk over and sit down and have a little snack?
A little picnic.
Next to the creek?
We came here, I immediately just fell in love with the temperature of the place. The weather is really nice in California. And the people, we immediately got connected to a really good group of friends and community. We kept the school routine, so we stay still in one area. And then we travel on summers, weekends, and holidays every time we can.
With the bus parked up and the kids now at school permanently, the family are still living in their home on 4 wheels for the foreseeable future.
One of the best bits about having a bus is that we can pick up the kids after school and then go somewhere and have a picnic in a completely different scenery. You know, get away from the mundane. The opportunity is endless with it.
I like how it moves around. I like to go just to different fun places. We can just go and do whatever we want after school. It's just so much fun.
Now the family are planning to continue living on the bus, but do want to move back into a house eventually.
We really have always dreamed about building our own house. Part of the reason we chose living on the bus is to save money so that we could build a house in the future, but the connection was the #1 reason.
But will the couple have the same issues that made them up sticks in the first place?
Whenever we go back into the house, some things that we'll take from this experience is the connection with our family. We will transition into this home recognizing and understanding the value of time spent with our kids.
I think that my parents made the best decision ever to get us onto the bus.
We love the lessons we've learned through it, and I really think that our marriage wouldn't have made it if we hadn't have made this choice. I think that we would have just continued that life of disconnection. The ability to go and travel across America it's been a beautiful experience.
This decision to flip our life upside down for the sake of our marriage and our kids, this has been the best decision we could have ever made.
Back in Virginia with the Bartlings, and with 6 kids living with all different disabilities, the family are promoting their children's independence to get them ready for adult life.
We instill in our kids that, you know, you're living in a sighted world. So the expectation for a visually impaired person or blind person is higher.
Well, I'm ready when you are.
I was born ready.
You were born ready, weren't you?
Yeah.
Some of the children are already benefiting from that preparation. Son David is now at college and daughter Hannah is heading to her job at a bakery.
I like everything. Washing dishes, drying dishes, and making recipes. And I like scooping cookies. And I like going into the chocolate room and packaging room. And now he's coming. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hannah was in special education, and she went to an academy basically for job training and that sort of thing. And fortunately for us, she had taken culinary classes, and they paired her with a coffee shop and bakery in town that employs other people with different kinds of disabilities working alongside typical employees. It's the first time they've ever had a blind person or even a visually impaired person in their kitchen.
Kelsey, this heart is a little chipped right here. It's a dud. I like all tasks about my job. I like getting along with all my employees that
that are entertaining to me. I'm entertaining to them.
Every year, the family celebrates the day each of their children were adopted. Today is Abby's Gotcha Day.
This is my mom and dad's anniversary and Abby's Gotcha Day. And we're gonna go out to dinner. We're gonna go out to dinner and have a lot of fun.
One of the things that's important in adoptions is Gotcha Day, and a Gotcha Day happens to be the day that the child comes to be a part of your family. And so our anniversary this year just happens to be Abby's Gotcha Day.
The family are taking a trip out to one of their favourite restaurants to celebrate, and they're joined by Karen and Joe's biological son, Joel.
Who's here, Abby? If you want spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
With the kids growing up and the couple reaching retirement age, the family are beginning to plan for the future.
Many of our friends and relatives that are our age are empty nesters, and they're enjoying the fruits of their retirement, and we're not. We have children at home. We'll continue to have children at home. Our children are still young.
We love you, Mom and Dad.
Aww,
Yeah.
bring out the tissue. It's not outside of the possibility for them to live together. And so we're actually starting the process looking into applying to officially become a group home for them. And in that case, you know, the idea would be that hired help, you know, hired caregivers and attendants would come in to do the day-to-day. It has its challenges, certainly, but, you know, without the challenges, then, you know, there wouldn't be any reward either.
Yeah. You'll kiss Daddy?
The kids are they're just amazing kids, and you just see how they interact, or, you know, if they've really succeeded at something, you know, and you're just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool.
In Colorado, the Williams family business is now turning over $40 million a year and employing over 130 people, including 10 family members. But none of this would have been possible without the support and investment of their loved ones.
This is all pleasure tonight, no talking business.
Without Lou, this wouldn't have started, so we do what Lou wants.
Remember that day, that picture they snapped of me?
Yeah. Well, and we got the check.
They're smiling, and I'm holding the check, and I should have held on tighter. Okay.
You wouldn't let it go.
And if you looked at my face, it was filled with fret. Three Musketeers.
Peter, one of the founding family members, has now retired from the marijuana business and is living a more mellow life.
My life a lot lately has been sitting in the backyard and enjoying my pets.
With a Williams family member at every turn, could the next generation take over the family business?
I started working there. I turned 21 and immediately left my job at the gas station and started working for Medicine Man. I get to see things that most people will never get to see in their lifetime, and that's what I see every day, to the point where I'm like, oh, psh, there's weed on the floor right there. Somebody sweep that up, you know?
This is Sarah, my granddaughter.
I think working with my family would be awesome, but I know that we'd get on each other's nerves a lot, so I don't know how much I'd want to do that.
My hopes for the future are just to expand all over the country, maybe even into other countries, just to keep putting out the best product possible, giving out a lot of help and medicinal benefits to millions of people, hopefully someday. So that's where I'd like to see us go in the future.
No matter how old the children are, I'm always mom. Now it's grandma or Grammy.
All of our kids know that they have an open door policy. Once they turn 21, they can come work for us. If they have aspirations of running the business one day, all the better. Doesn't mean they'll get it, but I love it when they tell me that.
Everybody could see this. Can you read that from here?
Can't say enough about how well they did in their vision, and the dream that we all had came true.
This is what they call the American dream, what we have. the once in every 50 years a new market like this opens up, and we actually were there day one and took those risks and grabbed a hold of it, and without my brother and my mother, it would have been impossible.
You know, without family, there's really no meaning in life, I don't think. It's why we do it. And it wouldn't be the same without my, working with my family there.